Yo, what's up guys? LeftBurst here, and today we're doing a review of the newest Beyblade to be released, Zwei Longinus. And if you're wondering why I'm not doing an unboxing, let's just say the unboxing didn't go well, so we're doing a review instead, don't worry about it. Anyway, so yeah, here's Zwei Longinus right here, and overall, design-wise, I'm not really too much of a fan. I actually do like it. It does look like a really solid Beyblade. It looks like a really cool Beyblade. But for a Longinus, I think it's probably the weakest Longinus design out of all of them. Like, if you guys remember, Lost Longinus is... Oh my god, Lost Longinus was so crazy, especially when you compare it to the other dual layers. Such a crazy design, such a cool Beyblade. Nightmare Longinus, don't even get me started on Nightmare Longinus. Like, Nightmare Longinus, it is just such a... Oh, it's so good. And Bloody Longinus is not... I would say Bloody Longinus isn't as cool as Nightmare Longinus, but it is still a really solid design Beyblade. This one, it's still a really cool Beyblade, but compared to all those other Beyblades, it just doesn't hold up, you know? Anyway, so yeah, enough talking about the look of the Beyblade. Let's talk about each part individually. Actually, no, let's not even talk about the parts individually. Let's talk about the anime. Apparently, the anime in the GT series, I haven't even been watching the GT series, I just heard about it. They replaced Louis Shirasaki with this new porcupine hair kid, which just makes me so mad because Louis Shirasaki was such a good character, and they replaced him with this other character, which the other character doesn't look horrible, but like, the other character looks like a fusion of Louis and Hoi, which I guess isn't bad, but I just really want Louis to return. Like, Louis was so cool in the Chosei series, and it's so sad. I wish Louis had a bigger role in the Chosei series. Remember the Chosei series where Louis showed up and everyone was like, oh my gosh, Louis Shirasaki, it was so cool, he was so epic with Bloody Longinus, and then he got defeated by Iga, and then he just disappeared. Like, where'd he go? I was hoping that maybe in the GT series they would have solved that, and it's like, oh yeah, after he lost to Iga in the Chosei series, he went to this other island to train, and he got this new Longinus, and the new Longinus is amazing. But instead, we just got a new Longinus owner, which really sucks. This is supposed to be a review, so let's actually review the Beyblade now. Let's talk about each part individually. I guess we'll start off with the Lair. It's not simple like that anymore, actually. You can't just start off with the Lair, because the Lair has like 3 different parts. So I guess we'll talk about each part individually. Anyway, Alright, we're back. Okay, anyway, let's start off with the Gachinko chip. Here is the longest Gachinko chip, and honestly, the longest Gachinko chip, it looks really epic. I'm really liking it. It has 2 dragons on it in this nice little swoosh, this nice little blue swoosh, and I really hope that they would have put metal on the Gachinko chip, because how cool would that be? Like a metal dragon Gachinko chip? That would have been so epic, but Takara Tomy decided not to. These dragons are not metal, they're just painted gold, which really sucks. But it's still a cool design, but I just wish that they were metal. It would have been so cool. We need to get a metal Gachinko chip. That's definitely happening in the future, right? We're gonna get a metal Gachinko chip, or at least like a metal coated Gachinko chip. The whole Gachinko chip doesn't have to be metal, but at least has to be metal coated. I'm sorry to talk really fast. I'm gonna try to slow down my talking so people can actually understand me. So yeah. Anyway, let's look at the teeth now. Here are the teeth for the Gachinko chip of Longinus. The teeth are crazy. Look at those teeth. Those teeth are insane. They're like Valkyrie teeth, and these teeth are actually really useful because, as you guys know, you can't mix left spin base layers with right spin Gachinko chip. So now we have a really good left spin Gachinko chip that we can use on left spin layer bases, which is awesome. Anyway, moving on to the next part, we have the Metsu weight disc, and the Metsu weight disc, it's a weird design. It's probably one of the worst weight discs to be released. It's not even like, it feels really light, and honestly, I don't see this thing being very good, but it is very funky. It's cool to look at, I guess. It makes like a Z or an N or like whatever you want it to be. Let's move on to the final part of the Lair, probably the coolest part of the Lair in my opinion, because this is actually way different than any other layer base that we've ever gotten in GT, because this layer base has metal on it, and I'm so happy that they gave metal to the Longinus Beyblade, because it seemed like in the Chosei series that Longinus wasn't really as special as it was in the other 2 series. If you guys remember, in the dual layer series, Lost Longinus had metal on it, and that was insane because no other layer had metal on it before Lost Longinus. Lost Longinus was the first Beyblade to ever incorporate metal onto the layer, and that was crazy. And in the God series, Nightmare Longinus had so much metal on it. I think it's still the Beyblade with the most metal on the layer, and that's just because it's fused with the disc, but it still has a crazy amount of metal on it. But in the Chosei series, when they made Bloody Longinus kind of just had the same amount of metal as every other Beyblade. It wasn't that special. So I'm happy that they, when they incorporated Longinus into the new system, that they gave it more metal than other Beyblades, which is really amazing. Like, look at this thing. That is so epic. It has metal dragons on it. And another thing to note is that the design of it kind of slopes up, giving it more upper attack motions, and it's a very jaggy shape, so it should get a lot of attack power or whatever, which is really cool. Okay, let me just put this thing together and let's talk about the next part of the Beyblade. Alright, but actually, before we talk about the next part, let's just look at the Lair. The Lair is very nice. Okay, next part we have the disc, and the disc name is Drake, and the Drake disc, I don't think this disc is gonna be that competitive. It's pretty jaggy, so maybe it'll have some attack power, but overall, the disc is very light. Or it's not very light, but it's light compared to all the other GT discs. But I will say the design on this thing, it might not be super competitive, but the design on this thing looks so epic. It has two dragons on either side, and there's the claws on the dragons, there's scales and everything. It just looks so cool. Oh my gosh. And I really like the deep blue on it. It just looks so amazing. I like it a lot. Oh, I think it's like one of the best designed discs in the whole entire Beyblade series. Like, it has two dragons on it. It's like it has as much attention to detail as the Lair, which is so epic, because usually the discs, they're kind of plain. Like, let me get a disc real quick. Here, I have my Storm Pegasus recolor right here. Ah, my camera fell again. I have my Storm Pegasus remake right here, and here is the 10 disc, and the 10 disc, although it does have some design aspects, it's not really that detailed. When you compare the 10 disc to something like the Drake disc, like, oh my gosh, look how much more detail the Drake disc has. It is crazy. That is so awesome. This disc is amazing. Might not be super competitive, but it looks so cool. Alright, moving on to the final part on this Beyblade. The final part is the Spiral Dash Driver, and honestly, the Spiral Dash Driver, why'd they have to reprint Spiral? Like, we didn't need a Spiral Dash. Like, I know, Takara Tomy probably, I don't know why Takara Tomy actually went with Spiral. I really wish they just made a new driver for this Longinus, or they used another one of the older drivers. Like, they literally chose the worst driver to put on the new Longinus. Like, they could have either chose the Destroy driver or the Jolt driver, the driver that came on Nightmare Longinus or the driver that came on Bloody Longinus. But instead they decided to choose the driver that came on Lost Longinus. Spiral sucks, and we just didn't need a Dash version of it. Honestly, like, we just didn't need it. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, here's Spiral Dash again. Because it is a Dash driver, that means it has a golden spring. I don't know if you can see that, but the spring in there is gold, and the golden spring gives it a tighter kind of feel. The spring is a lot tighter than normal springs, giving the Beyblade a lot more burst resistance. And I will say, even though I'm not the hugest fan of Spiral, I do like this color. Like, it's a really nice, like, kind of translucent purple color, and it looks amazing. Anyway, let me put this Beyblade together. Here is Zwei Longinus put together, and I have done some test battles with this thing. This Beyblade is actually fairly good. It has a crazy attack power, especially when you verse it against other attack type Beyblades or left spin Beyblades. It has crazy burst potential, and it is a very solid Beyblade. Oh yeah, I forgot to explain the gimmick to this Beyblade. Basically, the gimmick is Zwei in German, I think, means two. So the gimmick is that it has two dragon heads, and all the weight is on each side of the Beyblade. So there's two sides of the Beyblade, and all the weight is on those two sides. As you can see with the Lair, the metal dragons are on opposite sides, the weight's on opposite sides, and also the weight disc is kind of centered with the dragons as well. There's no way in the center. Oh my goodness, I keep knocking my camera over. So yeah, there's no weight in the center of Longinus. There's only weight on the outside of these 2 points. That makes the Beyblade very unbalanced. And the disc is also like that. As you can see, the dragon heads are on the 2 opposite corners, and when you click the Beyblade together, that matches up. All the metal is kind of on the same side. So that makes the Beyblade very unbalanced, and that gives it more attack power. So yeah, that was my review of Zwei Longinus. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe. If you guys want to see more review videos, leave comments in the comment section below, and I might do more review videos on Beyblades that I've already unboxed, because I don't know, review videos are kind of fun. So yeah, see you guys later. Have a nice day. LeftBurst out.